on the news that the San Francisco 49ers just lost Brandon Aiyuk for probably into mid-season next year with an ACL, MCL tear, plus supposedly some extra damage in there too, potentially at least. This is not a good situation for the 49ers, and they could go out there right now and they could go use some draft capital and go get themselves another wide receiver. There is one guy that the 49ers were linked with that they're being linked with again. His name is Courtland Sutton from the Denver Broncos. Should the 49ers go out there and make a move for Courtland Sutton? Let's hear what my man from Sports Talk Denver has to say first, and then we'll go from there.
Evidently, in the offseason, the San Francisco 49ers were willing to give a third-round draft pick to the Denver Broncos for Courtland Sutton, and frankly, Sean Payton laughed at that. He talked in multiple press conferences just about what a team-first guy Courtland is, how he handled his holdout, and you juxtapose that with any other wide receiver one in the league. And Courtland Sutton is a team-first guy in a me-first era, and so it would take a lot for the Denver Broncos to move on from him. I know Devontae Adams just ended up getting a conditional third-round draft pick. Amari Cooper, a third-round draft pick. I think the asking price for Courtland Sutton, especially because y'all couldn't beat the Kansas City Chiefs for us, is at least a first-round draft pick. But I'm telling you guys that he is a culture setter. I think he would thrive in your offense, and it would hurt all of us in Broncos country to see him go. But I just think we know that Bo Nix, while I think we are going to make the playoffs this year, true playoff runs, deep runs, Super Bowls for this Broncos team is probably 2 years out when we're totally moved on from the Russell Wilson dead cap hit. So I think he would be a fantastic addition to the San Francisco 49ers. You'd be getting as good of a receiver as he is person, and it'll be interesting to see what happens, and we feel for all y'all. FTTB.
Nice one, Ben. FTTB. There you go. You're getting it. Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Case Keenum, Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, Russell Wilson, Bo Nix. These are the quarterbacks in the last decade that have taken on, or less than a decade actually, the quarterbacks that have taken the job over the quarterback position from Peyton Manning on. So these are the guys that wide receivers have had to go out there and catch footballs from. A lot of different guys. Don't even talk about the coaches that the Broncos have lost and fired and all of that mess, and guys who've been fired and come back and rehired. It's crazy. The situation for the Denver Broncos, when you look at a guy like Courtland Sutton, who I'll put on the screen here, Courtland Sutton has played with a lot of different quarterbacks, and despite that, has been able to have a decent production. I'm not sure if it would be fair to compare him to Brandon Aiyuk, because I don't think that's fair to either Brandon Aiyuk or Courtland Sutton because of the differences. What I will say is that I think that Courtland Sutton would play his best football, no offense, Ben, but I think he would play his best football in red and gold, because not only does he have a consistent quarterback who's consistent with the scheme, and there's a rhythm and a flow there that Sutton has not been able to have. He's played with, Bo Nix, Russell Wilson, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco, and Case Keenum. That's 6 different quarterbacks, if I'm correct, which I think I am, in his time, in his tenure in a Denver Broncos uniform. That's a lot of different guys. He's also played with a handful of different coaches and different schemes. He would walk into a place that has a culture, that has a scheme. And yes, their culture needs some fixing. We're going to talk about that in another video later. Their culture needs some fixing, that's for sure. But would Courtland Sutton play his best football in a Niners uniform when you know that there's also George Kittle out there, Deebo Samuel out there, Christian McCaffrey will be back, knock on wood. You have a running game developing with your RB2. So when Christian McCaffrey is back, knock on wood, you've got 2 incredible backs that are there with different skill sets, of course. That's not to mention that you've got rookie guys like Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing that are developing and will continue to develop. So is there an opportunity there, and I'm probably missing someone, but is there an opportunity there for a guy like Courtland Sutton to take the place on the roster from a guy like Ronnie Bell? Absolutely. I think there is a spot. Now, you let me know in the comments if you think that the 49ers should make that move. He's got great hands. He's pretty fast. He has some great route running. I think overall, he's a solid player. That I think if he spends those 8 years or whatever it is with a different team, maybe 6 or 7 years actually. But if he plays those 7 years with a different team, like someone like the 49ers, people probably think differently about Courtland Sutton because he's had to do it with a lot of different guys. He's had to do it under a lot of different offensive schemes. And now he's obviously he's got Bo Nix, so he could stay there and he could keep that continuity. But I think there would be an opportunity for the 49ers there that would be a win-win as far as the 49ers are concerned and as far as Courtland Sutton is concerned, being able to have that consistency going forward. I'm sure he's pretty optimistic on Sean Payton being around for a long time. I would guess he's optimistic for now at least that Bo Nix is going to be there for a long time, but you're coming into a more of a sure thing with the 49ers right now than you would be in Denver, I imagine. That's just how I see it. I'm interested in what you guys think, though. Let me know in the comments. Look forward to joining you there as always. I think it's a very interesting tie. I'll go ahead and quickly go to, by the way, I'm not the only person saying this, and neither is Ben the only person saying this, but some options thrown out there for you by Israel Ortega. Sorry, I forgot to write down who that was. So you could, of course, just wait for these key players to get back. Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, of course, there's the guy. I knew I missed someone. Christian McCaffrey. You could wait for these guys to get healthy and hope that things get worked out, or you could go out there and find somebody. I don't think you're going to get Terry McLaurin. That's just my opinion. DJ Moore is an interesting one. And I'm not even going to talk about anybody from the Panthers right now. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think Courtland Sutton is the move that would make sense because the 49ers have already been out there for him. The question, of course, is would you be willing to give the draft capital for him? Would you be willing to give up what would probably be a first-round draft pick for him? That's an interesting play. I know we just used a first-round draft pick on Ricky Pearsall, a wide receiver, and you probably need your next first-round draft pick to be supporting the offensive line, if you're totally honest. But would you do it? Let me know in the comments what you think. I look forward to joining you there as always. What a time to be alive.